Hey, it's Tim Cub, and this is actually a response to brandtdary's video that he actually made on April the 14th of 2008, which was almost a year ago, it's true. But he called that video Atheists Only, and in that video he asks atheists why they are atheists. Well, being an atheist myself, I thought I'd answer that question for him, of myself at least. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I'm sort of a little Buddhist as well. I'll speak about that too. Meanwhile, speaking about atheism, I actually started out as a Christian. My family was Presbyterian. In fact, my grandfather was a Presbyterian minister. I went to church fairly regularly as a kid. And then when I was actually confirmed in the Presbyterian Church, when I was a junior in high school, I actually went to study abroad in Germany, where I was placed with a Catholic family for 6 months. And they were pretty devoutly Catholic, and required me to go with them to Mass every Sunday, which I agreed to do. I was sort of interested to hear what Catholicism was all about versus what I believed as a Presbyterian. I had taken communion in the Presbyterian Church quite often, but when I was 16, things just started not to make so much sense about Christianity, but still I was willing to go to church with the host family. But they offered me to take communion there at the Catholic Church. I didn't really want to because I wasn't Catholic, so I didn't, and they sort of looked askance at me at that. There was one Sunday morning that I was not feeling well, so I decided to stay home. And at that point, the host family I was living with was actually doing some demolition work on their home by scraping paint off the walls in order to repaint the hallway. So I continued doing that is scraping paint off the walls on that Sunday morning while they were at church, and figured, why not do it when I've got nothing else to do on a Sunday. When they came back from church, they discovered that I had done that and were very upset at me for having worked on a Sunday. And my young host sister claimed that since I had missed a Sunday, I would have to go to church twice in some week. And I found that to be rather silly. Anyway, when I got back to the United States, I actually applied to college and went to Georgetown University, in fact, which is a Jesuit school, and Jesuits are Catholics, of course. But by that time, the cracks in the walls of my Christianity were already beginning to spread. So I actually started investigating other religions. I took a course in Hinduism, which I was fascinated by. But had also started looking at Buddhism too. There was a little meditation group meeting off campus there at Georgetown, and so I started going there and had some really good experiences there, and then studied another course later on my senior year in Buddhism and was fascinated by that. Anyway, I began to wonder, in fact, whether what I learned about in the Problem of God, which is one of the first courses you have to take there at Georgetown, because they do require you to take 2 semesters of theology. In the Problem of God, I think I wondered aloud why the Bible was so important. Couldn't I perchance write my own holy book and have that be just as valid as any other? And that was, of course, completely voted down by the rest of the class and whatever. Anyway, more recently, I have been watching a lot of atheist videos here on YouTube. Specifically ones featuring Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hutchins, and Matt Dillahunty, who is one of the hosts of the Atheist Experience, which is a local cable access program here in Austin, Texas. And I have to say, what they have to say is very, very convincing, much more convincing than a lot of the other theist videos that I've seen here on YouTube. So I am just very inclined to go with what they say. Now, before you claim that that's because I haven't read the Bible, let me show you something. I think you'll find that a lot of atheists actually have read the Bible, or at least do have one in their home, and I too have one here in my home that I got from my pastors when I graduated from high school. You can see here it was that this Bible was presented to me, Tim Ryan, of course, by the First Presbyterian Church of Columbus, Indiana in 1991, and there are my pastor's signatures and things. This is a new revised standard version of the Bible. So I actually have a Bible in my home and have been reading it. So far, I'm finding that a lot of the stuff I'm reading just doesn't make sense. And to that end, I actually want to mention something that I've encountered in looking at some Buddhist texts. There's one sutra that I find to be most inspiring. The Kalama Sutra is one that I find to be quite fascinating. In that sutra, the Buddha mentions to the Kalama people, here I'm paraphrasing, of course, that you shouldn't believe anything that you hear from any teachers or anything you read in holy books or anything that even I had, that is the Buddha, have said myself. And if you find that anything that we say is not good, then you should reject it. If you find that anything we say does jive with your reason and things that are good, then by all means accept them. So I have to admit that a lot of the things that I've encountered about Christianity really don't jive with what I've experienced myself. So that's why I've chosen to reject them. Whereas a lot of the things I've encountered in Buddhism, I find to be very good and very testable and worth listening to. Anyway, also regarding God, I'm finding that the more I test it, the more I'm finding that it's really not something worth exploring any further. So I'm atheist, basically. So that's that. I hope that answered your question, Brant, rather. So anyway, I do have a question for you. Why are you still Christian? Have you ever thought about looking at why that is? And have you ever been exposed to anything else other than Christianity? I did see a couple of your other videos, Brant, and I did see one in which I think it was your dad. The video that I saw was with a haircut with your niece, and I think it was your dad wearing a Property of Jesus t-shirt. That's great, whatever, but I want to know whether you've actually looked at anything else. Thanks. Bye.